What if I told you that beneath the polished halls and golden altars of the Vatican lies a vault of terrifying artifacts that the church never wanted you to know about? There's a mirror under the Vatican that speaks perfect Latin, a weeping cloth, a machine that can see the crucifixion of Jesus, and bones that don't belong to any known species. Maybe the scariest part isn't what's hidden under the Vatican, but why they're keeping it hidden in the first place. This isn't just history. This is forbidden knowledge. So I was scrolling on TikTok, right? Just wasting time as one normally does. And then this video appeared on my For You page. I'll leave it right here. But basically, she was talking about this possessed or magical mirror locked away in the Vatican that can speak. I know, I was intrigued. I was like, oh my God, what is going on? So naturally, I went on a rabbit hole of my own. Do you know how hard Latin is? But that's not even the weird part. So how does a mirror taken from a people that speak no Latin start speaking in perfect Latin? Right? Right? That's okay. Let me keep going. An obsidian artifact stolen from the Aztecs in the 16th century. It is said that it once belonged to priests of Texlicapoca. Sorry. Let me try to say that again. Priests of Tezcatlipoca, and the god's name translated literally means smoking mirror. And back then, it is said that the obsidian mirror was used to summon spirits and predict the future. Now, keep this in mind, okay? Keep this information in mind. After the famous conquistador Hernan Cortez tore through the Aztec Empire, he sent a wave of stolen treasures back to Spain. Among them, the polished black mirror. Eventually, the church confiscated some of these objects and classified them heretical evil tools of the devil. And most of those objects got destroyed. But this one, the black polished mirror, oh, it didn't get destroyed. They hid it. Now, let's come back to facts, okay? The Vatican has never officially acknowledged possessing such mirror. Before I move on to the next relic, I do remember letting you know that I did go on a rabbit hole of my own. And when it comes to the obsidian mirror, I did find one that does exist, and it's in the British Museum, and it has the same origins as this black mirror that's locked in the Vatican. It comes from the Aztec. It was stolen by a conquistador and brought back. But this mirror belonged to John Dee, and apparently John Dee used this obsidian mirror to communicate with otherworldly things like angels or maybe dead people. But somehow there's more information about John Dee's mirror. If the Vatican mirror is real, then it's probably on purpose, because they don't want you knowing that there's a mirror that speaks Latin in the Vatican. The lack of information might be on purpose, don't you think? Yeah, I don't know. Let's leave it there. Let's move on to the next relic, shall we? Imagine a piece of cloth that doesn't just hold the face of Christ, but blinks, breathes, and cries. Some people say it even ages. Others say it disappeared on its own. And of course, the Vatican says nothing. So, why is this relic so terrifying the church chooses to hide it away? This is the story of the Veil of Veronica. The story of this relic begins during Christ's final walk to Golgotha. According to ancient Christian tradition, a woman named Veronica stepped out of the crowd and offered Jesus a veil to wipe his bloodied face. And when Jesus handed the cloth back to her, it wasn't a simple piece of cloth any longer. Apparently, the cloth held the full imprint of Jesus's face on it, not painted, not embroidered, but as if divinely burned into the fabric. Over the centuries, people claimed that the fabric didn't just exist. Oh no, it actually changed. How so? Some pilgrims said the cloth would bleed during the Holy Week. Others believed the face would shift and sometimes even blink. There are medieval accounts of monks who swore it showed a different face depending on who looked at it. To some, it would show a merciful face, and to others, it would show a judgment face. And then, out of nowhere, the cloth just vanished. Gone. For years, multiple churches around Europe claimed to have the real veil, but the Vatican's veil is said to be kept within St. Peter's Basilica and has remained hidden for centuries. No photos, no public exhibitions, just silence. Now, it is said that although the veil is hidden from the public, it does come out briefly once a year, usually on Passion Sunday, but they don't leave it out there for display. No, the veil is taken out and then is shown from a balcony high up there and is just shown for, a couple seconds or a couple minutes, and then it's gone. Some people believe that the veil, like the real veil, is actually hidden completely, and that the veil that they show on Passion Sunday is just a random veil, a fake, because no one has seen the real veil in centuries. So how would anyone know exactly what it looks like and be like, excuse me, that's not the real veil. Yeah, no, that's a lie. You're lying to us. You're lying to us all. No one knows. You just go there, Passion Sunday, they pull out the veil, yay, they take it back. That's it. And that's where the real mystery and secrecy comes in, because no one knows what the real veil actually looks like. And no one would know if you're being shown just a random veil or if you're actually being shown Veronica's veil. And of course, the Vatican does not fully confirm or deny the relic's supernatural claims. See, that's my problem with the Vatican. Like, they never confirm or deny anything. So it's just like everything's just out there. Like, if you want to believe it, believe it. If you don't, that's not our problem. They just let us believe what we want to believe, honestly. There's no scientific proof that the veil actually exists, but whispers still persist. Some say the church locked the real veil away because of its behavior and because of all the things that people were claiming to see. Others think it's not really a relic, but something far more dangerous. If the face of Jesus truly lives on cloth, then maybe it was never meant for human eyes. And maybe that's exactly the reason why the Vatican keeps it hidden. Or is it because the longer you stare at the veil, the longer it stares back? Either way, us regular Joes will never really know the truth, and that's just something we have to deal with, okay? No one's gonna tell us anything. Let's move on to the third one, shall we? Imagine a device hidden deep within the Vatican that lets you witness the past as if you were there. Not read about it, but see it. Like, actually see it. The crucifixion of Jesus, ancient Rome, even Napoleon plotting his wars. Sounds like science fiction, right? Well, in the 1960s, a Benedictine monk claimed it was real and that he helped build it. This is the story of the Chronovisor, a time machine device. The name of the monk was Father Pellegrino Ernetti, a respected scholar, exorcist, and musicologist. According to him, he was part of a top secret Vatican project alongside 12 scientists, including a Nobel Prize winning physicist. What was this top secret project about? They were trying to build a machine that could observe the past. Like a time travel machine, except you don't have to travel. You could just see the past. And the machine would be called the Chronovisor. This wasn't some psychic vision or spiritual journey thing. No. Father Ernetti claimed it was pure technology, using mysterious allo antenna-like structures and quantum vibrations of past events that were still echoing through time. So what exactly did the Chronovisor show? Apparently, when they were done building the Chronovisor, they were able to watch a lost Roman play by Quintus Ennius. The play was called Thyestes, or Thyestes. Listen, I've been struggling with these names and these words, so I'm just gonna put it right here, okay? I can barely speak English. Don't expect me to spell this right, please. Oh my god. Here you have it. Here's the word. Apparently, the play was performed in 169 BCE. They also witnessed Mussolini. You know Mussolini? Yeah, that guy. They witnessed him give speeches. And the most controversial of all the claims they made is that they actually watched the crucifixion of Jesus. Can you believe that? They watched the crucifixion of Jesus Christ with their own eyes. It is said that Ernetti even produced a blurry photograph of Jesus on the cross, and supposedly the exact transcription of the play. Remember the play, the Roman play? Yeah. Both the photograph and the transcription of the play were later ridiculed and dismissed. Some critics said that the image or the photograph matched a 19th century statue of Jesus, not an actual event. You can't fool us, Ernetti. You didn't see Jesus. But here's where it gets even stranger. In the year 2002, an Italian journalist claimed that Father Ernetti actually confessed on his deathbed that the entire story was actually a hoax. But those close to him say that he never retracted anything, and that the confession by the Italian journalist was actually fake. In fact, some believed that the Vatican forced Father Ernetti to stay silent, and that the Chronovisor is actually real and was dismantled for being too dangerous. What does the Vatican say about this? Absolutely nothing. No confirmation, no denial. As always, just silence. Which, of course, only fuels the rumors even more. What did I say before? They just like letting us believe whatever we want to believe. So was Father Ernetti a brilliant hoaxer, a madman, or did he just stumble on something the church deemed too powerful, too dangerous to even share with the world? One thing is true. The story of the Chronovisor forces us to ask, what else is hidden under the Vatican? And it only gets darker from here. Beneath the grandeur of St. Peter's Basilica, beneath the marble, the gold, the power, lies a secret tomb. Not just one body, not just bones, but a hidden necropolis, a literal city of the dead, and at its heart, a box of bones that may or may not belong to the man who this entire place was built for, St. Peter himself. Now, this story begins in the 1940s under the Vatican's own floorboards. During Pope Pius XII's reign, secret excavations uncovered an ancient Roman necropolis buried deep beneath the basilica, and within the necropolis, a small cavity marked by graffiti that read Petros Eni, which means Peter is here. Inside, fragments of bones wrapped in royal purple and gold threads. This wasn't just a holy relic laid to rest. Oh no. The site was surrounded by hundreds of other skeletons, some dating back to the 1st century. Men, women, children, all laid to rest in silence in what felt more like a forgotten underworld than a place of worship. And the Vatican? Silent. For over 2 decades, they didn't say a word. They didn't say a single word about what they found under there. And you might be wondering, why the secrecy? I don't know. It wasn't until 1968, nearly 30 years later, that Pope Paul VI made an official statement. The bones were declared to be those of Saint Peter, the Apostle, the rock upon which Christ said he would build his church. But there was a problem. The bones weren't found where the church had claimed that Saint Peter was originally buried. And even stranger, the skeleton was missing its feet. Why the feet? Historians say that Peter was crucified upside down, and so to remove him from the cross, they had to chop his feet off. It kind of makes sense, but I don't know. The bones have been carbon dated and examined by scientists. but the Vatican has control over the site and its findings, which means we may never know the full story. Some experts believe that the bones belong to an anonymous man from the 1st century. Others argue that the bones are real and that the bones belong to St. Peter, and that the Vatican simply cannot risk admitting to any uncertainty. They have to be sure. Now, the necropolis, or the city of the dead, is still there, but access to it is highly restricted. I mean, you can't just walk in. You have to request special permission. And even then, the church controls what you see and what you don't. So, was the church standing on the bones of St. Peter? Or is the church hiding something even darker? Something they found amongst the ruins, but they can't reveal. One thing is certain: the Vatican holds its dead very close. We will never know what else or who else is buried down there, or even why there are so many unmarked remains. It's just up in the air. It's for them to know and for us to never find out. So whether it's a time machine hidden in silence, a cloth that weeps, bones that may not be who we think they are, or a mirror that speaks Latin and remembers a time before the church, one thing is clear: the Vatican isn't just a religious institution. It's a vault of relics, of power, of secrets too strange to make sense, unless they're true. They say faith moves mountains, but maybe it also hides them. And the deeper you dig, the more you realize you were never supposed to ask these questions. Well, my history friends, this is the end of the video. Sorry I had to disappear again. You know me. I just can't do my liner, my lipstick, my eyeliner, like nothing on camera, okay? I'm sorry. But anyways, my history friends, this is the end of the video. Drop your theories in the comments, and if you want to dive deeper into history's forbidden corners, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss what we uncover next. With that being said, thank you so much for staying with me and learning about the secrets of the Vatican. Have a nice week. Please be safe, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.